Hi everyone, let's get into this pick a card all about your current growths, transformations, and like good things coming your way here relatively soon due to these growths, transformation, changes, choices as well. So we are going to start with group 1, 2, 3. Timestamps are listed down below so you can fast forward to your pile. Feel free to pause if you need a bit more time to make your choice, and I will see you at your reading. Hi, group 1. Welcome to your reading if you chose this pile number 1 or this green stone. This is your reading for your current growth, changes, choices, transformation, and kind of maybe what is good coming out of these changes, transformations, growth period, if you will. So we're going to pull these oracle cards, and then we are going to clarify the oracle cards with some tarot. So a little bit different than my normal style, but I thought it would be fun to shake it up. So let's check out the first oracle card here. We have imagination. So I feel like this is a positive thing coming to you because of whatever you are going through. There is definitely more fluidity, more creativity, more energy flowing through you, like more ideas coming to you. I feel like you're kind of like finding what works, kind of getting into that flow state, if you will, of creativity and imagination and wonder, and I feel like it's coming to you in an easier way, which is interesting. We'll see what the other cards have to say about like your challenges, like what are you going through, what are you shifting, what are you growing. But let's clarify this imagination card here. What else we got here for you? Imagination. I just get the visual of SpongeBob with the imagination rainbow. Let's see. Clarifying imagination, please. Okay. We have the Hanged Man and the Three of Wands. Yeah, definitely an energy of thinking outside the box. You know, the Hanged Man is all about literally changing your perspective, you know, turning literally upside down, thinking differently. Whatever cycle, changes, growth that you are going through is definitely like helping you alter your perception of where you have been. And it's almost like a reawakening, a refresh of perspective, of different ways of doing things, of clarity, of insight, of revelation, almost coming from this like imagination card. You know, that's what the Hanged Man is all about, like literally different perspectives, opportunities, opening yourself up. It's very much a open energy, and it's the strangest card in the tarot deck, if you ask any tarot reader or anyone that's kind of researched tarot. It doesn't make any sense really in the deck, whereas like most of the images are of, you know, a priest or a pope or judgment or virtue, where the Hanged Man has nothing. It's totally outside the box, and it stems from, you know, this artist back in, I think, the 15th century in Italy, and who knows why he thought of creating this, but it's definitely like that different way of thinking, different creativity, different exploration. And here with the Three of Wands as well, it's all about that excitement for the journey ahead. Like you've kind of know the direction that you're headed, you know where you're going, you have a plan put in place now, and you're able to take that journey, take that kind of step, if you will. There's a bunch of butterflies here as well, which is all about transformation, and they're white, which is all about purity and clarity and seeing things. I feel like whatever you're going through, there is definitely this aha moment of clarity, of insight, of being able to like work through perhaps a time where you've felt stuck or blocked or stagnant, which is very, very interesting. So we're just going to put those here to the side. Oh, or we're going to run out of room real fast. I didn't think of the spacing when I set this up. Okay, let's check out what your other card here has to say. Surrender. I really want to peek at this. I feel like we're working backwards through where you are now. This is almost like, feels like where you are now. This is where you're about to be. This is coming soon. So let's see. Well, I'm shuffling completely backwards. But that was the Four of Swords. So let's clarify the surrender here for you. What is this surrender about? And it does say, I can release my need to control. So it's accepting and letting go. Let's get one more. For surrender. Okay. So the first card that came out was the Five of Wands, but reversed. And then we have Judgment. Yeah, there's this, I mean, the Five of Wands upright can be all about an internal conflict or conflict with others. It's almost like a proving yourself to other people or needing to make people believe you, or it's kind of an ego-based energy. And fives are all about change, you know, surrendering, conflict, evolution, if you will. And there is definitely this energy of no longer, like literally surrendering to that energy, because it is reversed here, you know, letting go of those expectations that you feel like you need to prove yourself or do something for someone or something. It's almost this energy of literally surrendering. And then we have the Judgment here. Like, I feel like whatever you're working on, I feel like you're worried about what people will say, what people will do, how they'll feel about you. Maybe you're shifting something really drastically, changing jobs, changing friendships, changing hobbies. Like, I feel like, or your identity is kind of shifting and changing. And I feel like you're worried about the backlash of that, like what people will think, what people will say, what people will do. Well, usually people don't like when you change, because people have your identity set in stone in their mind. It's psychology, you know, whatever you are. Say you're a bicyclist, and your friends and family are like, well, they're a bicyclist. That's their story. That's their identity. They've been that for a while. And maybe now you are shifting into songwriting, for example. And it's hard for their brain to shift and change, as well as yours a little bit, into that mindset of changing paths, into changing your identity. It's hard for our human brains to kind of comprehend a shift and a change in someone's identity. It's really hard to explain, but I feel like that's kind of what you're really worried about. And I think that's what you need to be stepping out of. I think that's what you're learning to, again, surrender to, is to let these changes, evolutions, and so on and so forth kind of just happen, unfold naturally without trying to force or expect a change or people to understand or anything like that. We have acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things I cannot change. Interesting. Acceptance, surrender, imagination. I just get like a lot of freedom coming to you. A lot of just accepting, letting go, letting things flow more naturally, getting more into your heart space, really asking yourself, why am I doing these things? Why am I going this way? Like from a really pure standpoint, like really asking yourself instead of seeking it out with others. But let's clarify this acceptance here. Two of Swords. Acceptance. One more, please. One more. Got it. Ooh, Two of Swords, and then the Ace of Swords. Back of the deck is the Knight of Swords, just because I saw it. Definitely a really powerful energy of it, like wanting to speak your truth and feeling like you were blocked, perhaps in the past, not being able to say what you want to say, create what you want to create. I feel like you've had this need to please people. It doesn't even have to be in a people-pleasing way, but like whatever you were doing with your life felt like it had to be a part of the plan. And with the Ace of Swords here, I feel like you have so many of these like ideas and creativity and projects and what you want your life to look like. And it's finally like you're finally stepping away from that judgment and accepting what you can't control and what you can control and where you're going. It's almost like the first step to healing or transforming anything, literally, is acceptance. 90% of any healing work, growth, change, transition, 90% of it is acceptance of the situation or knowledge of the situation. And then the other 10% is like doing the work, putting it all together, making sense of it. And I feel like that is kind of what you're doing. And I feel like you're definitely releasing these needs and expectations and formulas and rules and regulations. And I feel like you're breaking free out of this, but it is a slow journey. I think some it's going to be faster and some it's going to be a little bit slower. But I think whenever this reading's coming out, it's around eclipse season. So there's definitely a lot of that shifting, shaking, changing. Feel free to watch that eclipse video. I'll link it below. But it's all about shifting and changing, and it's going to be happening for 6 months. So from whenever the eclipse start to 6 months, there's lots of shifts and changing. And I think yours is all about just the word freedom. That's the kind of word I get for you. So that's all I have for you. Feel free to give a like to support free tarot content on YouTube. Subscribe, comment. If you want to claim this reading, do the chain emoji. There's like 2 chains. Do the chain emoji to kind of break free out of this stuck stagnancy and kind of claim it for yourself. I would love to see that. Yeah, until next time, take care of yourself. Bye. Hi, group 2. Welcome to your reading all about changes, transformations, good things coming out of these transformations coming to you. And the idea behind it is from eclipse season to 6 months, but it's also timeless. So whenever you're clicking on this, it is kind of that energy now until 6 months, the kind of energy shift and change. And 6 months is a pretty short amount of time. It can fly by pretty fast. And so let's get into it. We're gonna do some oracle cards. We'll pull some tarot to clarify. It's a little bit of a different setup, but I thought it'd be fun. So let's look at your card number 1. Well, here you are for a message about change, and we have change. So it's inevitable. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So change is here. Change is coming. Change is on its way. Let's clarify and see what change is coming or any other messages. Ooh, okay, that was quick. I was getting, wow, I was getting a stuck, stagnant feel from this change. And here we have the Eight of Swords and the Six of Swords, which are both cards about feeling stuck, stagnant, lost, not knowing which way to go. You know, the Eight of Swords is all about feeling isolated, feeling stuck, but honestly, that you are able to get out of it. You are able to break free. You're not really trapped, but it might feel like you're trapped. But it's definitely like feeling constricted, feeling stuck, stagnant, lost. And then the Six of Swords is all about literally leaving behind a chapter and opening a new chapter in your book. But I always like to imagine the swords, because usually you're taking the swords with you, and it's almost like you're taking your lessons, you're taking your knowledge with you. You're not, it wasn't for a waste, you know, what you've been through or what you've gone through. It is a practical tool into helping you shift into this change, into this aspect of what you're changing. And I really keep on looking at these three swords kind of crushing through this statue head. And it's almost like it could be just people that you're just breaking free from. Literally, like I just see the Three of Swords here of something that you're just breaking free of. I feel like you're just finding your breath, you're finding your footing, you're allowing these changes to happen. And perhaps they could be a little bit uncomfortable, but I did want to mention the back of the deck energy was the Knight of Wands, which is all about that excitement of change and possibility and friendships. And it can be a little bit spitfiery, a little bit like overly excited, but it's very much the push that you're going to be needing, that excitement, that vitality of life again, that passion, zest for life. I feel like you've been stuck in this for maybe too long, and I totally get that. I think a lot of people have felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing things, I'm making changes, but like nothing's happening. But I see it is your time for change. Like it's happening. You're finally breaking free. We have worry. I am learning that worrying does not change an outcome. Okay, we're going to put this guy aside for a second. We're going to get to it next. But let's see for worrying. Clarify worrying. For my group twos, clarify what is this worry about here? Or what is it transforming? Let's see, worry. Okay, temperance. And Page of Wands. So interesting. So the Temperance card is all about balancing. You know, it's balancing that fire and water. Very alchemaic. Is that even a word? Like with alchemy, you know, this is this need to flow more naturally, to let things have their seasons, let things have their balance. I feel like perhaps you're someone like me who loves to know the when and the why and the how, and it's that need to know this control aspect of the outcome. But it's really from a fear-based upbringing. It's this need to, perhaps when you're a child, to feel safe. you tried to control the situation because it gives you a kind of false sense of safety. And so now you do it, you worry about these things that you can't control, that are completely out of your control, because the only thing that you can control is yourself. You know, the choices you make, the actions, the words you speak, so on and so forth. But everything outside of that is beyond your control. And so it's almost like letting go of this fear state, of this false sense of safety, through this false sense of control, which is not really control. It's just anxiety about this worry. You feel like if you worry, it feels like you're in control, but you're not in control, and you just exhaust yourself even more. So the temperance here is all about changing that frequency, you know, learning to flow easier within yourself and the outcome. Page of Wands here, all about that fire, that passion, that excitement for life. I feel like someone that worries forgets to have fun and forgets to flow. I know I do. You know, I get so serious about my goals and my habits and stuff that I forget to enjoy the moments and have fun. And this is here, the page is the youngest in the, you know, page, knight, queen, and king. And it's a very young, excitable, naive energy. And it wants you to be more naive. No, don't be stupid, you know, still be making smart choices, but there's almost a need to be immature and have fun with your life, because I feel like you're so serious about everything, and everything is so important and so do or die, that it's almost like there needs to be more zest, more fun brought into your life, into this change, into this perspective. And I think that's what you're getting out of this worrying cycle, this control cycle. And hey, I get it. I get it. And I am too learning to like let go of that need to control, or need to have this false sense of control. And it really just is exhausting at the end of the day. So let's see what else we have. Forgiveness. Acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of life, love, and life. Really. But let's get some clarity here for forgiveness. Okay. We have the Five of Wands, a defensiveness. Oh, that one's poking out to me. And Queen of Pentacles here. And we have the World on the bottom of the deck. Well, Three Cups wanting to pop out there. We'll just put that there so we can address that in a second. So, Five of Wands. I feel like you've had to be really tough all the time and have this exterior, and to never show vulnerability or ask for help, or you're like someone that's like, I can do it alone. I don't need anyone. I have the determination and I have the power, and like that's all well and good, but there's a need to let go of these things that have gotten you like stuck in this defensive mode. And I feel like it could stem from family. It could stem from a way that you think is safe, from how you were raised as a child. And so it's almost like needing to forgive these people that you feel like you need to prove something to or defend yourself from. It's almost like there's nothing that you need to prove, because you're already worthy of it as you are, which is the Queen of Pentacles here. She is worthy as is. Like there's no need for her to be or do or have to be worthy of love for herself or for others. And this could even be a need to forgive yourself for perhaps how you speak to yourself, how that negative inner dialogue just goes on that loop. It could be a need to forgive loved ones or parents for how they maybe raised you, or relationships, how they treated you. I feel like there's like this bitterness where you feel like you need to take these wands and smack people's hands away from you all the time. And so there's a need that you need to start forgiving, like yourself and others, for what has happened, to allow and make space for this change. And I do want to touch upon, okay, Six of Cups. Okay, we'll take them both. No one else got this, but here we are. The Three of Cups and the Six of Cups. It's almost like you'll be able to get into this flow state where you're able to have more fun. And it also brings out this natural creativity from your childhood, this natural spark that you've tried to keep hidden because you've always tried to be safe and in control, and, well, a false sense of control, but it felt like control. But I feel like that's kind of what you're releasing into, is this freedom, this much more fulfilling, feel-good energy. Three of Cups is all about celebration and parties and enjoying people's company and having a good time. And the Six of Cups can all be about nostalgia, or people from the past, or experience coming back into your past, or healing situations. There's also the card of like the inner child, you know, healing it, listening to it, following what you used to love. I feel like whatever you are transforming out of and into, it's much more of a peaceful state of being. And then we have the World on the back of the deck, which is literally the last card in tarot, and it's all about this rebirth, you know, this ending of a chapter into a new chapter, and all the lessons you've learned and where you're going. Four of Wands, like victory, success is coming to you. Nine of Cups, yeah, I feel like there's really beautiful things coming to you, shaking out of this need to hold on and keep things under this false sense of control. So that's all I have for you. Feel free to give the video a like to support free tarot content. Put a cup emoji down below, your favorite beverage down below, to claim this much more peaceful state of mind. And until next time, take care of yourself. Bye. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading all about your current growth cycles, transformation, changes, and what good is kind of coming out of these intense changes. And it's going to be a timeless reading. So now until about 6 months is kind of the energy prediction. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to pull an oracle card and clarify it with a tarot card. A little bit different, but I thought it'd be fun. So let's see. Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Let's clarify the empathy here for you. Group 3. What else about this empathy card? Okay. And one more. Okay, we have the Page of Swords. I don't know if I should read that upside down or not. Five of Pentacles. I feel like you felt out in the cold for perhaps a long time, and just not knowing like what direction to go. And perhaps people have been like telling you, oh, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that, and nothing's really felt like it's clicked or felt right, or you know. And it's almost like this need to tap more into your sensitive side, your empathetic side, your intuitive side, regardless of your gender, because we all have intuition. and hopefully empathy. But I need to just be gentler with yourself and situations and people and places. I feel like you've been putting a lot of pressure on yourself to find the one or find the job that gives yourself purpose, or, you know, find the thing that just clicks, or there's so much pressure for you to feel like you need to be and have and do all these things. And I think with spirituality and tarot, I feel like there's always this need to, that you're not doing enough, that you're not healed enough, or you need to do XYZ to be able to get your manifestations or call in your lover or anything like that. Like, it just becomes this pressure that you need to always be more and that you're not enough. And I hate that about the spiritual community. It's not everyone, but it's so often projected or perceived that there needs to be more. You know, you're not healed enough. And the thing is, like, you'll never be healed. You'll never be done. You'll never be perfect, because it doesn't exist, because we're all human and we're all messes and no one knows what the hell they're doing. And so there needs to be more empathy with yourself, especially, and know that, like, you're just doing the best you can. I feel like that is one thing I've learned to help me be more gentler with myself, is whether it's working on a project or being there for someone or working out. Like, I always tell myself, just do the best that you can. That is the most important thing. And again, no one's perfect. No one has it figured out. Everyone has problems. Everyone has health issues or mental health issues or ebbs and flows of life. Like, that is part of life. And anyone that tells you differently is probably selling you something. And I just want to let you know that it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to not know. You know, there's been so many times in my life I've been lost, and the more and more that I'm lost, the easier it gets, because I know I will find the path again, and I know I'll be, you know, it'll change again. Like, I know this too shall pass. You know, the bad will transfer into the good will transfer into the bad. It's the constant in life. But it's okay to feel lost. And I feel like there's so much pressure to know what you're supposed to do or do what you're supposed to do. And just let yourself be lost and give yourself grace with that lostness. So that's what card number 1 is. And I get it. I get that there's this pressure, and you see it on social media all the time. And I get affected by it too. It's like this need. You see everyone doing so well, but social media is so fake. You only see the positives. You know, you never see someone post when they're depressed or feeling down or having a bad day. Like, they never do. So take it with a grain of salt. Let's see what else we have here for you. Self-esteem. I possess the gifts of soul that benefit me and others. Yes. This goes very much in line with empathy, but let's get some cards to clarify. We have these two, the Fool and the Page of Cups. I love this. The Page of Cups is such a sweet, innocent, gentle energy of learning to love yourself and learning to be comfortable with yourself. And I think that is work in itself. And I like to think of like self-love, self-esteem, self-worth as it's a practice. It's a practice very much like why they call yoga a practice, because some days you have great balance, some days you have horrible balance, sometimes you fall, sometimes you're really strong. It's all about a practice. And I think self-love, self-esteem, self-worth is also a constant practice. And you know, when you're really tested on this self-love, because it's so easy to love yourself and be happy when things are going well, but the real test of your work and your strength and your connection to faith and belief and everything like that is when things are going bad. Like, how can you stay in this state of love as much as humanly possible? You're going to have negative thoughts that come up. To completely erase your brain and say, I never have a negative thought, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, maybe. I don't think any human has the capability to completely eradicate every single negative thought and only have positive thoughts. Maybe the Buddha, but and the negative thoughts are okay. It's not the end of the world. And I think the best thing to do is to acknowledge these thoughts and these thought patterns, especially when you're in the thick of it, and to really work on that toolbox. You know, what do you have in your toolbox that you can use in those times when things aren't going so well? You know, mirror work, breath work, yoga, meditation, journaling. I've got a great video on journal prompts. I'll link it below. You know, what are the things that you, that's really when spirituality and your faith in all of this comes to the surface and is tested, when you're not feeling yourself. And I think this is what you're breaking out of is, yes, you'll have days or months or weeks where things will be bad again, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean everything's horrible. But there's this, like, I just get this very hopeful, excited energy that maybe you finally find something that works for you. You're finally able to click over why you self-sabotage so much, why you speak to yourself so negatively. And it is 90% of the time just acknowledging, noticing, understanding the patterns, and then 10% of it is the actual work. The hardest part is noticing that inner voice, that inner dialogue that just goes on a loop, and breaking it and stopping those habits and being like, no, like, this is not true. We're just feeling a little sad, and that's okay. And what can we do in our toolbox to kind of elevate that, you know? And you have everything that you need. You're already worthy of being loved. Like, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. There's no need to be more or do more or have more. Like, you already are. And when you're in this negative thought pattern, I think it's a good tool to, when you hear a negative thought come up, whatever it is, like, oh, you're horrible or whatever. You're not horrible, but just example. And you're like, would I speak to a friend like that? Hell no. You would never speak to your friend like that. You'd probably say, hey, it sounds like you're having a rough week. What if you do something nice for yourself? You're not horrible. Like, you're just overwhelmed. And it's just about noticing that and, like, being a friend to yourself. Like, how do you speak to yourself? How would you speak to a friend? How would a friend speak to you? Well, if a friend is speaking to you like that, they're not a friend. You should probably cut them out. But yes, just to be gentler, learning to love yourself. I feel like that is kind of the energy you're shifting into, is the ability to love yourself more and finding tools that work for you, which is really powerful. We have humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a beautiful lightness coming to your life. You know, out of this darkness, you'll be able to find just your heart and your soul and humor. Like, if you need to laugh through things and use humor to deflect, I think that is totally fine. Yeah, there's almost like this breaking free energy of past, not habits, but cycles. Like, you're breaking these chains, these habits, these negative thought patterns by noticing them. That is like the key to breaking these negative thought patterns. Again, don't expect them to always be positive and you'll never have a negative thought ever again. Like, get real. But noticing these patterns and these chains and these rhythms, you'll be able to step out of it and break free out of it and have this lightness, this humility, this more fun aspect of yourself, because you've gone through the darkness and now you're able to come to the light. The happiest people are usually people that have gone through some dark things, really dark things. And so it's almost like this lightness is coming into your life, this effervescence, this breath of fresh air, this different perspective, especially with the Hanged Man here, an ability to breathe and be there for yourself and have more joy in your life. Again, here, I feel like this is a start. I feel like you're really breaking free of this stuck energy of feeling lost and scared and not loving yourself. And it's time to crank up that love dial for your own self and to trust your intuition and to be gentler on yourself. And again, it's a practice. It is a practice, and don't expect yourself to be healed and then all of a sudden maybe you have a bad week or a month and you're down in the dumps. Don't beat yourself up. Like, perhaps there's a reason your body is trying to communicate something to you. Maybe you are working a job that you hate, or you have a relationship that's not satisfying, or you just need some time to like rest. Like, all these messages can come in a way of sadness. And it's also like, it's not bad to be sad. I feel like there's so much connotation that you're not allowed to be depressed, you're not allowed to be anxious, you're not allowed to be sad. Like, no, feel the feelings, sit in those feelings, process those feelings, journal those feelings. Let yourself tap into that more empathetic, intuitive side of yourself and like listen to yourself and listen to your body and listen to these messages, because there's power in that. And I think it's really important to use that as a tool. And this comes from someone that I've struggled with depression very, very severely, very mildly, ups and downs. I've had plenty of dark nights of the soul where I've just crawled into a fetal position and cried for an entire month straight, like, because I needed it, because I needed to like have that moment to like break down this shell. And I remember as a teenager, like, I was on heavy antidepressants because I was living this false life. I was trying to do everything and juggle all these things, and I was just severely depressed. And it was my body's way of being like, hey, this isn't the life you want to live. Like, anyway, so I get that darkness. I really do, and I empathize with that darkness. And there's strength in that darkness as well. Like, there is healing, there is softness, there is evolution in those darker times. And I think it's important to embrace those darker times. Hell, for 2 weeks straight before I filmed this, whenever you're watching it, I was crying like almost every other day for 2 weeks. straight. No, it was almost a month. It was a month. And I just needed to let my body heal. And all these past memories kept on coming up, and these past relationships and past hurts and pains and all of these things just came out of nowhere. And I was just like, oh, I thought I was healed. I thought I had processed this. And I just let myself cry and feel. And so anyway, I get it. I get it very, very much. But that's all I have for you. I probably could go on and on about this, but I hope that this gave you a little bit of clarity and hope and compassion. And feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have some self-worth videos. I've got journal videos. I've got a bunch of tools, and I'm trying to make more and more of these videos to just give clarity and give help to people for what's worked for me. And yeah, give the video a like if you feel called to support free tarot content. Comment a little white heart emoji down below to claim this reading so we can connect and yeah, just grow together. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.